Hello again, Gooners. I'm not seated yet, which is just as well, or is it? Because I might topple over and die.
Make yourself
Actually,
home,
I won't. I'll try and survive this. A bit like Arsenal tried to survive yesterday, but despite their survival attempts, they lost 1-0. But it was only the Emirates Cup. We didn't win it. So, Alan, you're not upset, are you? As you're not a proper Arsenal fan, although people are suspecting that you do indeed have a soft spot. Thank you for that noise. We're going to have plenty of noises interrupting this podcast, by the way, or vlog, should I call it. Plenty of stuff to get through. I don't know if you're going to have the patience to listen to it, so I was going to give you a menu of things that we're going to be talking about.
A menu,
but no food involved, not just yet. Eric Dyer, I was going to talk about him, but he's now at Tottenham, so I don't feel like talking about him.
Hopefully this vlog won't be dire.
It may be Dyer. Quintero, you can't word play on that, can you? Quintero. What's happening with him? Not a lot. Just to give you, a little bit of foresight about what's going to happen. Arbeloa, you know something about him. Do you remember him? Ex-Liverpool, possibly. Stevie G, his latest comments. Well, if you don't know about it, you should. Schneiderlin, who can be a bit of a schneid sometimes. It can go and strike.
Another Southampton player moving on.
Yes, and who hasn't? Who hasn't left Southampton? Monreal could be on the way. Perhaps. Khedira still being linked with Arsenal. And then we've also got Joel Campbell. What did you think of him during the World Cup? You'll have an opinion, I'm sure. Ryo Miyaichi. I'm not sure if I have mastered the name yet. By the time I do, he'll be on the way, no doubt.
So I
have some news on him. Well, it's not great news, unfortunately. And then something about having English players in an English squad. Does it bring stability? I will ask you about that. You can say the same about having Japanese players in a J-League team. Does it make any difference at all?
It's true.
Then we've got you will have nothing to say on this, Georgios Spanadakis.
The Greek guy.
Yeah. How did you guess? Well, anyway, something on him. Balotelli.
The Greek guy.
Loads of opinion. He's not great. Hate to inform you of that. What about Thomas Vermaelen? I'm sure you know something about him, but I'm going to tell you something too. I hope it's up to date now. William Carvalho. He could be on the move to Arsenal, Sporting Lisbon to Arsenal. Could that happen? We will discuss it very briefly, probably. And then there's a guy, I can't even pronounce his name, but he plays in the same position. Joshua Guilavogui. Guilavogui is spelt like that. It's spelled differently depending on which newspaper you read. Oh, camera's up here. Hello. And then Mats Hummels. I really like Mats Hummels. I don't know why my accent changed, but
I like his
really
shirts, the ones that Denmark wore when they won the European Championship.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mats Hummels, he was a guy. Why does my accent always change when I mention him? I really wanted Arsenal to sign him, so we'll start at the end, which was the final thing on my menu.
Hummels.
I want a bit of Hummels. Hummus.
I thought you said there was no food on the menu.
No.
We're getting some hummus now.
Now, yeah, perhaps. But I would give you free hummus for life if Arsenal actually signed Hummels. Do you know that? That's how pleased I'd be. Would you be as pleased as me? This is my question to you. If your favourite team were about to sign Hummels, which I don't believe Arsenal are, I think if he's going anywhere, it will be Manchester United, but I don't think he's going to move anywhere. He's at Dortmund at the moment. I think that's where he stays for a while. What do you think? Any news on Hummels?
Borussia Dortmund like to cash in on their little stars now and again, don't they? I mean,
yes.
Obviously the Japanese connection is Shinji Kagawa.
Yeah.
Bought him for 300,000 euros, sold him for a lot of money to Manchester United, and now the rumour is they might even buy him back for 300,000 euros or something.
So you'd
but
say,
that's nothing to do with Arsenal, is it? Sorry.
No, so you'd say he's most likely to move to.
It's a good chance that,
if anywhere. And then Atletico Madrid, of course. Arsenal have been doing a bit of buying and spying in Spain, and this guy who's got a name that people are even struggling to write Joshua. I read the other day.
It's not Joshua, it's Joshua.
Joshua, it is
Yes.
Joshua. Oh, well, then the other day I read it's Joshua, so I'm really confused about his name. So it's definitely Joshua.
I believe it is Joshua.
So there you have it.
Guilavogui.
Guilavogui.
He's a French professional footballer who plays for Spanish club Atletico Madrid as a defensive midfielder.
Oh, are you sure he's Joshua? Well, that's according to a certain website.
I'm pretty
we
sure
don't
it's
have to mention
Joshua.
because they've got enough money as it is. Anyway, so this defence. Do you think Arsenal need a defensive midfielder? Is there anyone you could recommend from the J-League instead of this guy that we can't pronounce?
Yes.
Who's turned into a flop and also snubbed Arsenal, snubbed them you know, kind of did that to their noses.
No thanks, no thanks.
It's unkind treatment.
Well, there's a player at Cerezo Osaka who are prone to unload players very quickly, called Yamaguchi.
Oh, Yamaguchi.
Hotaru Yamaguchi. Hotaru is Japanese for
Hotaru.
Firefly,
Oh.
which is really cool, isn't it? Eh?
Oh, okay.
Firefly Yamaguchi. He played in the World Cup and was one of probably the two players that came out of the World Cup for Japan's campaign with a little bit of credit. And the other one was Kiyotaki, who you can see behind us over here, actually.
There he is.
Kiyotaki played about 7 minutes in
buzzing
Japan.
around with the Firefly.
But Yamaguchi is a good defensive midfield player. He's a captain for Cerezo Osaka, and apparently he's on the wavelength. No, the radar.
Yeah, the radar.
Not the gaydar. The radar of Fiorentina, among other teams. Although he's more likely to end up in the Bundesliga because of the easy and well-known passage that Japan clubs have from Bundesliga.
They sort of drill their way
Yeah,
all the way from Japan straight into Germany.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we did say we were going to get interrupted a lot. I actually thought it was Alan's chair at one point. When he stood up, it suddenly went, and I actually thought it was his chair. But
so yeah, Yamaguchi actually has featured on the cover of J Soccer magazine, bottom left corner there. This is Yamaguchi down here, and he's a great little player. He's still young. He could be picked up cheap. The only problem with Arsenal, although we've got around this with Miyaichi Ryo, is he hasn't played in 75% of the last 2 years internationals. But he's getting close. He hasn't actually played in the international team for 2 years yet, so he's reasonably old.
Reasonably old. Oh, so that's not such a good sign then.
No, he's a youngster. Let me find out.
Okay, while you're finding out how old he is, I'll tell you about William Carvalho over the drill. Over the drill, he's going to cost 46 million euros. That's the buyout clause. But apparently he's on the transfer list now, so could leave for a lot less than that. He could leave for a lot less than that, but still 30 million quid, which is a lot of money. And will Arsenal probably can afford it, but will they bring in a defensive midfielder, bearing in mind they've already got Flamini, they've also got, well, I don't consider him a defensive midfielder, but he's doing a job there, Arteta. So they've already got two choices there. They've also got this guy Chambers, who's just come in from Southampton, apparently can play there. Pretty good central defence. I was impressed with him in the pre-season friendlies I've seen.
Haven't they got a guy who keeps getting injured as well?
A guy who keeps getting injured?
Tall guy, lots of injuries. Abuda.
Oh, Diaby. He's more of an attacking midfielder.
That's the guy, yeah, Diaby.
Well,
Abu Diaby.
Looking at him,
they named the country after him, so
oh, exactly, yeah. Which
Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi. Okay. Yeah, well, you know, he's not my favourite. Let's be honest. He gets injured too much for my liking. It's not his fault. He's been cropped a few times in English football.
Not wrong.
And yeah,
Yamaguchi's around. Yamaguchi's 23 years old, man.
Yeah.
He's just a boy. He's 173. You know, he's about 5'9", so he's not that big. But he's a pretty strong guy, and he's got a good head for stuff. He knows what he's doing. Yamaguchi Hotaru for Arsenal. How about that then?
Yeah,
you heard it here first.
Sound of that. You heard it here last as well, probably. Yeah. And what about Vermaelen on the move to Manchester United or Barcelona? If you were Arsene Wenger, would you consider selling Vermaelen, who's got 1 year left on his contract, to Manchester United, a potential title rival?
No.
For 10 million?
No.
Even if they're going to pay more than Barcelona? We don't know that as a fact at the moment. It seems like he will go to Barcelona.
At current rates of exchange and the ridiculous money that's going around, Vermaelen is a 20 million player, man.
What, even with a year left on his contract?
Yeah, well, that's the problem, isn't it? Because he's only got a year left on his contract, and he might become free at the end. So he goes for 10, and in 6 months he'll be 5 million. This is ridiculous. This Bosnich guy, whatever his name was, yeah, Bosman, yeah, that guy, yeah,
that's the man.
Yeah, that guy. He's got a lot to answer for.
He certainly has.
I think it's tragic that you've got to sell a player or consider selling a player just because he hasn't got a 5-year contract. But then Vermaelen's a good player. I think he's a steady player. What you Arsenal fans think?
Yeah, we'd like to know. Well, a player in the same position as him, Sami Khedira, would you sign him for more than 20 million? He's only got a year left on his contract. Is he that good? Some Arsenal fans want him to sign because he can play defensive midfield, attacking midfield, or just midfield.
But Vermaelen's a centre-back, really, isn't he?
Yeah, I know, but he's got the same contractual position. That's what I'm saying.
I see what you mean.
And Bayern Munich are waiting, apparently, They're waiting for Khedira. They're going to wait for a year and then sign him on a free. Whereas Arsenal allegedly are prepared to cough up the cash, which it does feel very allegedly when it's Arsenal. But I'll tell you another thing. Arsene Wenger was asked the question about Khedira. Have you made an inquiry about Khedira? And he said, depends what you mean by inquiry. Now,
depends what you mean by inquiry.
So, would you be suspicious that perhaps he has made an inquiry if he's redefining what inquiry actually means? Because clearly Arsene's English is good enough.
Is this inquiries? I'd like to know Khedira's telephone number, please. Yeah. He's made an inquiry, you know.
Oh, I see. So you think there
is he free next Friday night to go to the movies?
So, so do you feel there's much chance of a Khedira deal on the horizon?
He hasn't said no, has he?
He hasn't said no, but he said no to Quintero, who is heavily linked. In fact, the Evening Standard was saying he's going to arrive on Monday, and now I do believe today is Monday. And as far as I know, okay, we're ahead of the UK in terms of time zone, but Quintero not likely to arrive at all. Arsene Wenger said a distinctive no when asked about it. He actually said no.
No, that means he's on the way then, isn't it?
So yeah, possibly.
In Wenger speak, no means yes.
But he's in a shh. Wait, Driller, stop it! Enough. Right, Quintero, perhaps not on the. He's not on our list of players coming in. But Arbeloa could be. Alvaro Arbeloa, once of Liverpool, which is only down the road from Manchester United. He may well be on the move. Apparently, he could be joining Arsenal. What do you think about that?
Is he needed?
Yeah, but he's a utility player. If we lose Vermaelen to either Man U or that person tapping downstairs, or Barcelona, I knew this was going to happen. So anyway, if we do indeed lose Vermaelen, who is a utility player of sorts, we need somebody who can slot in at left back, right back, well not right back so much, but left back or centre back. And Arbeloa primarily is a right back. He could do the job. 31 years old. Is he worth signing in your opinion? Not particularly.
No.
So you'd go for a youngster instead?
I would, and Wenger likes to go for youngsters.
Oh yes, he certainly does. And one youngster we didn't sign, Eric Dyer. Have you seen a lot of him at all?
No, I know he's
joined Spurs though.
I think I know his brother Danny.
Yeah, I thought you might say that. 20 years old, defensive midfielder. He's joined Spurs for £4 million, I understand, from Sporting Lisbon. He's an England under-21 though, so he's been spending a lot of time in Portugal. And I really like the fact that some English players go abroad and spend a bit of time learning different football culture, and then they come back to the UK. You know, my opinion is that they're better for it.
And it's very unusual to have an English player overseas, isn't it?
Exactly.
I mean, the best players, of course, want to play in the best league, which is the Premier League, and then you see a player go overseas and they get ridiculed for it anyway because of some reason. I mean, Lampard, he's gone for the money to extend his career for a year or whatever, and people already go, what's he going there for? It would be a pleasure for Japan, or Australia, Korea, a lesser league, to have someone like, and America, let's face it, is a lesser league, to have a player like Lampard for a year or two. Obviously he's getting paid a fortune. He's not going there because he wants to, he's going for the money, isn't he? I'd like to think he's going to extend his career and play the game he loves for another year, but I'm sure it's more likely he's going for the money.
Like ex-Arsenal legend, Freddie Ljungberg.
Legend.
He had a spell at Shimizu Espov.
Freddie Ljungberg. Well,
have you got a shirt? You're going to grab a shirt.
Yeah, I am indeed.
To just remind us who Freddie is.
Freddie came over to Espos, and
there's
there
his
he is.
very shirt.
He actually wore this shirt about 8 times.
Oh, he was ahead of his time. Look, wearing Puma.
Yeah. Arsenal got Puma now, but Freddie Ljungberg played for Espos. He was a pleasure to talk to. He was a lovely guy. I met him. His fashion sense left a bit to be desired, but shall we say? I'm just kidding, Fred. Just kidding, Freddie. The fact that he was only wearing underpants,
Yeah, well, that was a bit of a giveaway. And talking of which, he's not going to be a giveaway. Morgan Schneiderlin, who's been linked heavily with Arsenal, amongst other clubs, mostly Spurs, I think. Yeah. He is on strike, I understand. And so, what would you do with a player like that? Would you sign a player that's sort of gone on strike to move to your club if you are that very club?
String him up, I say.
Yeah.
String him up. He's on strike. String him up. He's not really on strike. He's on strike to get a move. What happened to I demand a move, boom, 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 and then paying 15% to
I know, it just feels so wrong. I don't know if he's officially on strike, but it feels like that.
The poor guys.
He's not training.
Is he the only
apparently.
player left at your
Yeah, may well. He may well be the only player left at Southampton.
Him and Yoshida.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a Japanese
and he's not on the
connection
move yet. He's not on the move yet. According to
I get the feeling he won't be on the move, and in fact, he'll be guaranteed a place. In fact, there'll be 11 Yoshidas playing.
Yeah. Looks
It'll
like
be Southampton, Yoshida. I
think it was a song like that, wasn't it? About
Yoshida.
who was it about? I forget. Some Irish player. Right, Stevie G, who's not Irish at all,
And he's not playing for Southampton?
and he's not playing for Southampton. Luis Suarez was too good for Arsenal. He said, with not that silly accent that I just did.
Luis Suarez was too good for Arsenal.
Yeah, I think
He was bigger than Jesus.
he was too
I
good.
didn't say we were bigger than Jesus.
So, what do you think about those comments? Do you think it was in bad taste or good taste, or do you think he's got a point really that Luis Suarez was too good for Arsenal? Perhaps he's too good for the Premier League.
He's too good for Liverpool.
Yeah.
And
yet he stays.
That's the way you turn it around. You say, oh,
Yeah.
he was too good for Liverpool.
Mm.
I get the feeling that Steve Gerrard has said something like, like the Swedish chef from the Muppets.
Well, and then the press kind of put
and he's
two
probably
and two together,
and he's gone to Barcelona because they're a bit better than Liverpool, and you know they're better than Arsenal. He was probably too good for Arsenal. Oh, he's too good for us. You know,
Yeah.
he's probably going to be booed by Arsenal fans for the rest of his career, which
More
won't
than
be much
likely.
longer anyway.
More than likely.
And he probably didn't even mean it the way it was been spread out, you know.
And who needs Luis Suarez when you've got Joel Campbell, a
Luis Suarez.
World Cup star?
Talking
Joel
of
Campbell.
Luis
What do you
Suarez,
think of
are
Joel?
you hungry?
Yeah. Well, possibly in a
I
bit.
could use a bite, couldn't you?
So what do you say about Campbell's soup then?
Joel Campbell?
Joel Campbell's soup.
He's,
Do you think he makes a good chunky soup, or is he a bit watery?
Well, I think he's a bit concentrated right now, and something
Yeah.
needs to be added to
okay.
bring him out to
Perhaps
full,
a
full
bit of
volume.
Yaya
Yes.
Sanogo.
Yeah, as long as it's not Yaya Toure, what an
Yeah,
idiot
yeah.
he is. Or is it his agent?
Oh, perhaps it's his agent.
Don't
really.
forget my birthday, will you?
Yeah. Okay. So Joel Campbell, is he the real McCoy?
No.
No.
I think to
You
put
wanna-
all your eggs in one basket over
Yeah.
a guy named after a soup can might be a...
Yeah, but
bit
Arsenal have done this many times before. We've had Sol Campbell, we've had another Campbell, and I can't. Kevin Campbell, was it?
DJ Campbell.
Yeah, I mean we've had some really good Campbells over the years.
Well, they all deserve their 15 minutes of fame, don't they?
So I think Joel Campbell should stay at Arsenal, not be sold elsewhere.
15 minutes of fame, Campbell, Andy Warhol. See the connection? Never mind.
Talking of 15 minutes of fame, he's not even had that much. Ryo Miyaichi. He is unfit, he's unavailable, and when asked about his future, Arsene Wenger said, I don't know. And then he said, he's coming back from big ankle injury. He needs competition again when ready. Now, what would you read in between the lines? What would you say is on the horizon for Ryo?
I'd say about 2 years ago in J Soccer magazine, some writer with a good view of the future said that Ryo Miyaichi would suffer from injuries for a long time. Oh, that was
wonder
you.
who that
That
was.
was you.
Yeah, it was. And everyone put me down, and
Um,
I bounced back. I went to an alternative vet after they put the injection in that nearly killed me off. I scrambled down the road, found another vet, and here I am.
And yep, Miyaichi's definitely had his injury problems. Even the hype, for want of a better word, extended to Japan at one point. And even though he hadn't played in Japan, obviously, and he'd hardly played for Arsenal, I think PSV did all right? I mean, yeah, the Feyenoord, sorry. Sorry,
Yeah.
Dutch people.
Yes.
Sorry,
Yes,
Feyenoord. He actually got in the Japan team for a game.
2 games.
2 games, right? And he did okay. I mean, so from what I can see, if he'll ever get to play,
If he's ever
he's a
fit,
decent player.
he's really quick. I mean, he's second quickest at Arsenal. I don't know since the new arrivals turned up, but he's not much slower than Theo Walcott.
Well, he's probably as quick as Theo Walcott right
Not
now.
quite. Oh yeah. At the moment, as they're both laid up in the sick bay. So, any chance? I was going to ask you this. Any chance that a J League club would be interested in loaning Ryo?
I think
And if so, which one?
almost any J League club would take him at the drop of a hat,
Really?
as long as there was some guarantee that, you know, maybe pay as you play, or
Yeah.
or Arsenal were paying some of his wages.
Yeah. Well,
or,
Arsenal, I'm sure. I
Which
can't.
they probably
I
will.
can't speak for their finance department, but I think they will pay some of his wages.
But yeah,
So-
definitely, it'd be great to see him in Japan, because, and he's a big star, even though he's hardly played, because, you know, the fact that he's overseas and he's a handsome young boy. one of the Wenger's boys. The Wenger boys. This should be a group name like
Yeah,
that.
and perhaps even a song.
Yeah.
What about Mario Balotelli? Would you write a song about him if he joined your favourite club?
I wouldn't spit on him if he was on fire.
Really, that bad?
He's a disgrace to the profession.
But he's actually a good footballer.
Well, he can be a decent footballer, but all that baggage that goes around him,
Yeah,
it's
he's
so
got
sad,
a lot of
isn't it?
baggage. I saw a picture of him smoking as well, and that did put me off.
He's a player that you hate to hate, but of course, if he joined your club, yeah, he's a fantastic player. Right?
Yeah, exactly. I think you hit the nail on the head there. So perhaps I should cut it short at this point. I was going to ask you about, is it important to have English players in a squad? That's what Arsene Wenger was saying.
Yes, excellent.
And that's why he's brought Chambers in. Debussy's not quite English enough at the moment, but looks a very good signing.
Debussy doesn't sound very English now.
No, not at all. But he's got Chambers, so there is an English feel to the squad suddenly.
Well, you know,
so impressed with Chambers.
It's like this, isn't it? Because we got the Premier League is the best in the world, but the English national team is dire. I told you we get Dyer back in there.
You've got Dyer in there.
Because there's hardly any English players playing in the top teams. Who were the last team to field an English 11, Joe?
Wow, that's a tough question. Not Aston Villa, is it?
Yes, it is.
Aston Villa. How did I guess?
Aston Villa under John Gregory fielded 11 English players, and there were also another 5 on the bench and 2 Welshmen, apparently, if I remember correctly. Wow. So the whole of the 18 were actually British, but the whole of the 11 for 1 or 2 games in that season were all English.
And so
I was very proud.
1990s?
That was about 1842, I think.
Okay.
It was late 90s, I reckon. Maybe, no. 2000. No, it was probably in the 2000. Shall I look it up, Joe?
While you're doing that, I think I'll say goodbye to everyone. And well, actually, you can do an extended goodbye because I've got to go all the way over there to press the off switch. And I normally say away, but I'm sure you can say.
I'd like to say that while you're there, Joe,
good.
this is Naoki Matsuda's shirt. Naoki Matsuda. We're recording this on August the 4th. Naoki Matsuda, rest in peace, died on this day some years ago. Matsuda Naoki, you're a star.